When is it time for war? Is it now? Is it right now? Should we be fighting some strange enemy? Should we be at the border, ladies and gentlemen? I'll wait for a few of us to join. Hello, welcome to the live stream, kids. Hello. Hello, everybody. We'll give it another minute. When is it time for war? Well, I've got some thoughts, and I figure I want to talk about it. Let's make sure that you can all hear me. I think there's only one of you watching right now. Let's see. Am I live right now on Twitter? Let's see. Never mind. I'm not gonna take a look. I'm gonna hope that the live stream is going through. What up, Pogena Stoner? Hello, sir. Welcome. Good times. Yes. When is it time for war, ladies and gentlemen? So you can hear me all right? Podegen Stoner. I hear you. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, when is it time for war? I've had a few people recently message me asking about whether or not it's time for war. And I always, it's not that I don't understand the fear. If there's one thing I get, it's fear. My first love, besides unnecessary shame, was fear. So it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. I understand the emotion, especially during these days when it's pretty chaotic out there. I get that. It's pretty chaotic and it's pretty messy, and then there's a lot of things going on and a lot of false things and a lot of things that look like false things that may not be false things, and a lot of things that might be not real that seem real. And oh my God, like there's a lot of chaos, right? Like how I pronounce that? Chaos. Here's the thing. It's not that I don't understand the impetus, the animus behind wanting to go to war. But what a treat for us, Mommy. Just finished streaming Meow This. Good. I'm glad you're here, Podegen Stoner. See, I kind of got that right. So it's not that I don't understand the impetus or the desire or the justification. I get it, right? People who follow me, people who listen to Conservatish, people who follow me, especially on my Instagram, understand that spiciness is necessary, right? We can call it setting boundaries, right? I sometimes hide things behind those in memes that I make. But what are we actually talking about? Right? I want to, what I like to do and what I kind of want to do tonight, or part of the many things, and I also want to hear your thoughts on these things, is to discuss what our definitions are, right? So the question at the top, the question of this whole thing is, when is it time for war? That's what someone sent me. Well, what's your definition of war? What's your definition of war? Here's what I think it is underneath questions like, when is it time for war? I think what that actually means is, I want the chaos to stop, right? But here's a question. What would actually make that stop? Let's let that sit there, because I don't want to get too quick into the solution. I don't normally like plan out my live streams. People who follow me on Instagram, like, and Conservatish who listen here, understand that I like to go organic, but I also kind of made some notes, which is rare for me. But let me just explain where I'm coming from. Grand scheme. I think people who follow me and who listen to Conservatish and who follow me on Instagram understand that my desire is for people to be free, right? Is for people to communicate with each other, is people to connect with each other. My goal is connection. My goal is truth. My goal is freedom. So anything that would get in the way of that is my enemy. But I want to be careful, and I make memes about it and I talk about it in the show. I want to be careful to know my enemy. I want to be careful. I want to be cognizant of what makes that enemy win, right? The energy that I was talking about a second ago about, I just want the chaos to stop. In its current manifestation, is that possible? Is it possible in its current manifestation to make the lizards, the state, the World Economic Forum stop creating chaos under the umbrella? Meaning this, if I'm still chasing after the dream, if I'm still trying to keep the structure together, stop the chaos, right? If I'm still trying to keep the structure together, then I guess, sure, maybe some sort of thing may be necessary soon. But, and we can talk about what those definitions are, but I want to specifically get into, I hope I'm making sense so far. I know I haven't gotten to a solid point yet, but this is what I'm saying. What's an effective way to fight? What's an effective way to fight? Well, a couple of things. So we all kind of understand, like, what have we learned so far, right? Those of us who are awake, those of us who don't question, who question the government's narratives, who are no longer watching the mainstream media, who are no longer beholden to our favorite influencers' narratives either. What's our definition? Like, what's an effective way to fight? See, the way we learned to distrust the government is by the government being untrustworthy. What are some of the things that we can rattle off that are examples of that? January 6th, Ruby Ridge, Waco, Snowden, right? Assange, right? Countless others, but not really countless others. And what do I mean by that? Well, the point I'm making is, what was January 6th? It was, as we talked about in a previous live stream, it was a armless crew, strongly made up of a lot of federal agents, protesting initially peacefully, mostly peacefully, who then were swayed because mob does mob. Remember, we've talked about it on the show. Mob does what mob wants. Even if individuals, millions, thousands, hundreds of reasonable motherfuckers get into a mob, get into a group, that group gets a mind of its own. And what did we learn from January 6th? Sure, that mob can be swayed, but we also learned that the people who are now rotting in prison 3 years later, with very little, if no word from Donald Trump, right? Without being charged with insurrection, what have we learned? We learned that January 6th, even if it had good intentions, even if the people there, it was used by the lizards. It was used by the state. And how did that manifest? Well, those people, not very many people, like a couple hundy, right, were sought after by the state, were locked up nefariously, right, were chased down and sometimes, right? But it was only a couple motherfuckers, right? So the point I'm getting at there, along with many other things, the point I'm getting at is that January 6th, what we've learned is that it was, well, let's put it this way. The state needed to set an example. The state needed to set an example. Same thing with Waco, right? Oh, these people are doing something we don't want them to do. Oh, and then they flout us. They flout our power. They act like we don't have authority. We need to set an example. And so they set that example brutally and face no consequences. Right? We saw that with Ruby Ridge. We saw that with Waco. We see that now with the January 6 motherfuckers. They tossed us a bone by saying, yeah, Ray Epps, I don't know, community service. that nigga is on multiple videos calling for people to go into the Capitol and, right? But they set an example because it was a couple hundy motherfuckers. Ruby Ridge, they set an example. Why? Because it was a family. Waco, they set an example. Why? Because it was a compound. Julian Assange, a person. They're playing whack-a-mole in order to set examples, right? What does that mean to me? Well, it means a lot of things, but one of the things it means is, well, if a bunch of us didn't play the game, if we didn't take the example that they gave us, could they really do anything? Could they? Could they? Come on. Could they really do anything? Now, anything means a lot of things, but what I'm talking about specifically, you know what? Here's another example. Let's take COVID. Let me take a little sip of my turmeric ginger tea. And I see your comment, Papa. Yes, magic bullet. And we could talk about that too, but there is not going to be a magic bullet, but one point at a time. So during COVID, during the mandates in New York City, there were businesses who were told through a mandate that they needed to check vaccine cards at the door, right? Now, a lot of motherfuckers in New York, by the way, got fakies, okay? But let's sidestep that for a second. Most businesses, most places, most gyms, most restaurants said, well, I guess this is what we got to do because the state said it, so we have to do it. And a large number also were 100% down. 100% down. You know what's proof of that, by the way? That most of them weren't actually down with doing the mandates. As soon as the mandates ended, the businesses stopped doing it. Do you think that the bulk of that is because they actually trusted in the guidelines of the New York Health Department? No. They just didn't want the smoke. They just didn't want the consequence. Right? So they complied. See, what I'm trying to also put forth here is that the state mostly has bark, not bite. But when they do bite, they do it on purpose, right? And they do it to a small number of us because that's all that's manageable for them. And they set an example. Don't fucking cross the line that we have set up for you, okay? The social contract that we're both playing by. You pay me, and I might kind of sort of pave a road once every 5 fucking maybe years, maybe. And if you get stabbed, I'll fill out some paperwork for you. That's the social contract. Thank you, Danny. That's the social contract, right? We've set this up for you. Don't cross this fucking line. So for the 1, 2, 3, or 4, for these hundy couple motherfuckers who do cross the line, and we'll talk about the line, but who do cross the line, what happens? Setting a fucking example. In fact, not only will we set an example, we'll go above and beyond in order to set the example. We'll charge these motherfuckers for shit we know they're not guilty of, just to show anybody who's thinking about it, don't you fucking dare. That's what we saw with January 6th. That's what we saw with Snowden. That's what we saw with Ruby Ridge. Was there interpersonal shit? Yes. But I'm saying specifically, grand scheme, these motherfuckers set examples, whack-a-mole, don't get in your fucking box. That's what they did. Now, when they set an example, is it just to people who are violent? No, of course not. Snowden, right? When they set an example, is it just to things that we all know could be construed as uncouth? Is it things that endanger the constituents? No, 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 no. It doesn't have to be violence or anything like that. And I'll get your comment in a second. It doesn't have to be violence, right? It's ultimately anybody who doesn't do as they're told. You know, it's a good example of that. Oh, damn it. What's the line? What's the word? It's called not disturbing the peace. It's getting in the way of the enforcement. There's a word I'm looking for. But anyway, getting in the way of the enforcement of the law. Cops do this all the time, right? You're obstructing justice, right? They all know that that's a bullshit charge, but it's a golden ticket for them to lock up whoever the fuck they want, right? Now, I'm not saying that every time somebody gets, gets locked up by a cop, it's a long story, but I'm not saying that every time someone faces consequences by a cop, that it's nefarious, ill-intended bullshit. In fact, sometimes, thank God the fucking cop is there to lock that crazy motherfucker up, even though they didn't necessarily, right? Even though all they could be charged with is disturbing the peace or flouting the law, whatever the fuck. But that's a perfect example. I guarantee most of the time that law is used, that charge is used, it's get in your fucking box. Do as you're fucking told. Right? We all know that lemonade stands get tickets and shit. We all know that Amish farmer, right, got his shit raided. Where was that? Pennsylvania? Yeah. Right? So the state doesn't actually have scruples. They don't have morals, right? So what are they doing then? Here, Podagin Stoner says government keeps that pimp hand strong. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But let me take a sip of my peach Waterloo. Oh my God. Hello, children. I'm talking about the state. So government keeps that pimp hand strong. Yes, but again, what did I say a second ago? They have more bark than they have bite. They have more bark than they have bite. Oh my God, is that Forest Mommy and Granny Loves Farmers? I am a big honey. Thank you, dear. Of course you're here and not on Rumble. I'm on everywhere. What? I isn't it streaming to Rumble? How come no one sees it? Gosh darn it. I apologize for cussing. What am I saying is the state plays whack-a-mole in order to set examples. Stay in your fucking box. Do not cross that fucking line. Right? But what happens if a couple of us cross the line? Now, I'm not talking violence. I'm not talking violence, but I am saying the line, the arbitrary bullshit rules that they come up with. What if not even all of us. What if just a unfuckwithable amount cross the line, then they can't really make examples of us. See, when the state makes the example of us, it's because whatever we're doing is a threat to who? To the state. So, do we need to get a violent, the theme is when is it time for war? Define fucking war. Because these motherfuckers don't like it when we have a lemonade stand, much less a bayonet up in this bitch. Right? The social contract that we've all decided that we're going to allow them to, right? And then you fight them in courts, and then they're like, okay, it was nefarious charges, and they face 0 consequences, right? They don't really care. They just want you back in your box. Now, so this is all clear, right? But I'm just trying to set this up as an initial what the problem is. Again, January 6th, Snowden, Ruby Ridge, Waco. These were examples of small groups of people doing something, even if it looked like it was outside the bounds of the social contract, being penalized for it. Is some of that penalization, I think that's the right word, penis, is some of that penalization because the cunts who work for the feds were mad at David Koresh, right? Of course. Yeah. Right. But a lot of it is just them wanting to keep power. Right. So it was examples of small groups being made an example. But if in and of itself, the crossing of the line was such a threat to them, why then do we in the libertarian, anarchist, conservative game, those of us who are angry and feel chaotic and feel confused and don't know what the fuck, is it time for what? When do we, fucking, why is our first weapon, quote unquote, why is our first weapon that we're reaching for violence? If having a motherfucking lemonade stand is enough for them to whack-a-mole and say, stay in your fucking box, why are we reaching for the big guns when a fucking hammer will do it? Sabes? What I'm trying to say is that I don't know when it is time for quote unquote violence war. And you know me, guys. I'm not opposed to this shit. I'm not opposed to that shit. Come on now. But I am saying, why are we reaching for the giant fucking shit when even doing a lemonade stand makes them pee their pants? And maybe, just maybe, there are other quote unquote weapons we can reach for that don't involve them making an example to that level. Right? That's what January 6th was. I'll get to your comments in a second. You greedy people. What I'm saying is, who benefits off of us reaching for the big fucking gun when a hammer will do? Who benefits off of us reaching for the big fucking gun, the atomic bomb, when a lemonade stand will do? Does that make sense? All right, let's get to these comments and then I'll continue with my amazing rants. That justice group in Montana too, something about taxes. Exactly. Forrest Mommy says, we totally do not want it to happen at all. Nope. By the way, to all the feds who are watching, get some fucking therapy, you fucking faggot. My dad was mean to me as a child, and so I need to take my fucking anger out on people who make a fucking lemonade. Get some fucking therapy, bitch. Jock daddy issue having motherfucker. My dad molested me. I know a lot of motherfuckers who got molested and didn't decide to punish the fucking world with it, bitch. Is it a tragedy that that happened to you, Mike 264, who's fucking masquerading as a fan of mine so that he can make sure I don't say anything against the lemonade stand regulations? Is it a tragedy that your fucking uncle touched your butthole, nigga? Yes. Sure. 100%. Do not, I'm getting too loud. Stop putting that fucking anger out into the world, bitch. It's a lot easier to get therapy than it is to fucking fly to Taiwan to fucking to murder a motherfucker. Right? Stop being a fucking Fed. Anyway, where was I talking? Where was my point? Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe. I love you very much. So what am I saying? I'm saying, who benefits off of us taking out the big gun? And maybe there are ways that we can fight the lizards without giving them a blank check. And besides, let's talk about the quote unquote war. Let's talk about the violence aspect in real terms. And again, I am not saying that I am morally against that. You all fucking follow me. You know I'm not. By the way, I just have to say I'm not suicidal. I love my show. I'm not opposed to the big gun. Not at all. But I am trying to what? Like I said at the top of the show, my goal is what? Freedom, connection, truth. Freedom, connection, and truth. If us getting swept into walking around the fucking Capitol building was enough for them to go, oh my God, let's make an example of these motherfuckers, right? Let's take let's take the tiny dick of the law and jam it up their assholes for years on end, essentially keeping them fucking without having fucking trials and shit. Then maybe we can protect the goal, the grand goal of connection, freedom, and truth by reaching for other weaponry, right? What I say at the top, define war. When is it time for war? Define it. Define it. I want us, and I do not think that there is such a thing as utopia, nor should we even try to shoot for it. But I do think, what if, what's up, pussy monster? What I'm saying is, maybe there's a way we can move forward while protecting our energy. Right? Maybe we can define war differently. Is it fun? I'll tell you, you know what? I'll open the kimono with you motherfuckers for a second. You know what's fun? I mean, y'all see my shit. I'm pretty violent when it comes to my content. I make some crazy shit. I do my best to skirt just in case the feds come knocking on my door one day. Right? I skirt, I sidestep. But, and again, I'm not opposed to it, but you know what I'm doing with that partially, part of it is just fun to make them feel scared. Part of it is fun to make them feel like, oh, why am I even doing this job? Right. And I'll make a point of that about that in a second. But oh, dark entries. What's up, baby? I mean, refusing to be stolen from could be fun on a mass scale. Bing, 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 bing. What do we have for our ladies and gentlemen? One point at a time, damn you. But what I'm saying, when I make those memes, Sure, there's many different reasons. It's fun to create. It's fun to make them scared. It's fun to make them pee their pants and say, "He's getting away with it. It's not fair. Mark Zuckerberg, make sure that you shadow ban him. It's election season." Right? But it's also fun to communicate to my fans and followers what they're capable of. To communicate to my fans and followers that that's on the table, comma. I don't necessarily only mean violencia, but I am saying what's on the table, well, that they're more powerful than they've been led to believe. If you're listening to me right now, you are more powerful than you have been led to believe. And sure, I mean violencia, but I also mean you're like, if you weren't a fucking threat with a lemonade stand, nigga, they wouldn't need to shut that shit down. If you weren't a threat, not paying taxes, then they wouldn't need to shut that shit down. If you weren't a threat, right? Am I making sense? You're a threat just by believing that you're enough. Why do you think they've been attacking us on all these fucking, on the grand scale? Why do you think they've been attacking the culture first? To get your spirit small, motherfucker. To get your spirit small. See, you having a big ass spirit define war. You having a big ass spirit is a threat to them. You having a God is a threat to the state. You having a meditation practice is a threat to the state. You having a means of supporting yourself and your family prosperously is a threat to the state. Define war. So why would it be necessary to reach for the big guns when a hammer will do? In fact, fuck a hammer. When a missed call, why reach for the big guns when not answering their fucking phone call, especially if it's more than a couple of us, will do? Dark Entry Designs made a fucking exactly the point. I'll read it again. I mean, comma, refusing to be stolen from could be fun on a mass scale. What they gonna do? You know what they did? Remember 2 years ago when they made a big fucking, we're hiring 87,000. Number one, they even couldn't find that many niggas. Come on. Number two, them motherfuckers is DMV employees. You think they're stadies? You think they're feds? Stop, bro. They're DMV employees. They're going to fucking come knock on my door. Mr. Feliciano, you really haven't paid yet. And if I say suck my dick, that's when they send in the big boy. But this 87,000, they have bark. What did I say earlier? They have bark, not bite. And when one of us moles says, suck my dick, that's when they take out the hammer and say, see, other moles, see what we're doing? See, we have a big hammer. You're going to need F-15s. Bitch, shut the fuck up. No, we do not. There's 331 million of us motherfuckers. You think you got that many fucking F-15s, bitch? Shut the fuck up. The state has bark, not bite. When they do bite, it's to a couple of us who poke our heads above and then we get thwacked. Well, guess what? If more than one of us stood up at the same fucking time, they don't have bite. They don't have that many hammers. Let's take it specifically. Culture is upstream. Exactly. I can only get so erect, sir. Hang on. Hang on, maybe this will help you. I brought out my my neck was hurting. Okay, all right. I can't even turn it off. You see what you get? Not only do you get poignance, you also get cabaret. The fuck point was I making? Oh, they don't have that many hammers. Let's look at it specifically. There are 331 million of us. Now, I know a lot of those people are kids. A lot of those people are old motherfuckers. But, let's be real. Old motherfuckers can handle themselves a lot more than we think of. Maybe 85. Black & Decker fleshlight. No, damn it. That is a hand percussion massager by, I don't know, Hyper Ice. So what I'm saying is, I'm really glad we're doing this live stream, by the way. I never go live. I should do this more frequently. You guys are fun. Wherever you're listening, subscribe and share, and make sure you comment because that helps the algorithm. What I'm saying is, there's 331 million of us. There are, oh man, I'm going to mess up the, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do it live. Let's look up together how many police there are in the country. Here we go. Ready? 708,000 full-time law enforcement officers employed in the United States. $331 million and 708 of them. Let's break it down even further. Forrest Mommy says, I shared your Rumble on the Twits, and yes, lives are fun. Good. So I am on Rumble. Good. Yeah, bastards. I didn't know if it's even fucking damn thing is working. I'm not a professional streamer like Forrest Mommy. What am I saying? Oh, okay. 331 million of us. Let's break it down. And 708,000 of them. Let's break it down even further. How many of those motherfuckers, if told, hey, you all need to go door to door and lock motherfuckers up? How many? How many do you think? Oh, they'll all do it. No. Some will. Fuck yeah. Because like I said at the top, them motherfuckers got daddy issues. A lot of the motherfuckers are problematic people who need therapy. But a lot of them, let's look at New York. New fucking York City. New York City that had what? That had fucking the mandates. Made a lot of the motherfuckers say, no. How about suck my dick? And then they had a problem with recruiting. Army. Let's see another example. What have we seen in the news? The armed forces are having a hard time recruiting. See? I'm not saying that them niggas ain't the boogeyman, but I'm saying they're not the fucking boogeyman. I'm saying even that 708,000 of those motherfuckers chop that at best, at worst in half. At worst in half. And they're going to go what? Door to door? For the next, 40 fucking years? And saying, you're not allowed to have guns, and you're not allowed, and you're. What did we learn during COVID? They want you to make yourself small. They can't handle us. Why do you think a PSYOP is necessary, bitch? Because a PSYOP makes us do, right? It's mind first. Sovereignty is an inside job. It's inside first. It manifests as outside, but it's inside first. I know 2 business owners in New York City who, from the jump during the mandates, said, "Suck my dick. I'm not enforcing any of that shit." Multiple times, they had cops knock on their door, threaten them, tell them that they had to put the sign up in order for them to leave. They said, "Fine, I'll put the sign up, but I'm not enforcing that." They put the sign up. The cops left. They still didn't enforce the fucking mandates, mask or vax. And then what happened? Both of those businesses faced 0 consequences financially or legally. The state has bark. It don't have bite. Not when it's all of, not even all of us. Not when it's more than a hundy. Not when it's more than just Ruby Ridge. Not when it's more than just a compound in Waco, motherfucker. They can't handle us. And I don't just mean violence-wise. I'm saying they can't handle this many people. It's not manageable. They, quote unquote, manage us by threatening us. They manage us by getting our fucking mind psyop. They manage us by whacking one of us moles so that the rest of us stay down. That's no longer a tenable position. We all know that the Great Awakening is happening right now. But it's not manifesting as violence, is it? Why do you think they're banking on all these fucking illegal immigrants? Because it's too late. The dam is broken. The moles are popping up. I know. We'll get a shit ton more moles to stay in the box, and we'll hit one. Now we have a whole fresh new group of people who didn't learn what the rest of these fucking moles learned the last 3-5 years. Am I making sense? 50% of the law feels the same as you. I don't know what that means. What are you talking about, Daniel? She set the bar too high, pun intended. Who are you talking about? I should have talked to the more about you comments before. Where's that salsa made New York City? Who are you? What's happening? You need to I should take one I should take one of you out. I should kick one of you commenters out so that the rest of you learn like most. No. So what am I trying to say? Well, I think I'm saying what I'm trying to say, but ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about let's start wrapping up, but let's go to my hopefully maybe last point. Probably not, knowing me. Danny said you mentioned it when you said half of the law will not go door to door. So exactly 50% of the law enforcement feels the same as you. Stop, guys. They ain't shit. Well, they can do it by remote. Who's maneuvering the remote controls? Am I going to say this on a live stream? I think I'm going to say this on a live stream. I'll try to couch it this way. I'll try to be careful with this. Ready? I saw this on a meme the other day. Well, you know what? Fuck that. All right. Well, I'll talk about it. First, I'll show you the meme. Let's see if you can see this. So here's the thing. Yay! I like being a problem. Podigestone or whatever your name is. I meant Forrest Mommy set the podcast game too high when you talked about her sharing on Twitter. Yes, thank you, my love. So let's okay. So they have a hot problem. Yes. Um so how do I put that in a non-meme format? They're bombing us through remote controls. What's something that Palestine, especially a couple hundy motherfuckers, maybe even a couple thousand, don't have that all of us, besides New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco, and actually Chicago would be fine, um, don't have, or that we do have, but that Palestine, that the people we bombed, the people that Bush and Obama and Trump and cunty Biden, what did they not have? Means, resources. And if we utilize those means towards communicating a certain message, see how careful I'm doing this? God damn it. This is majestic. Thank you, God. If there was a communication method that we could communicate our dissatisfaction with certain people who may or may not be in a remote control center, well, we could utilize that resource of communication, couldn't we? Your voice matters. I'm going to post this meme later, actually. It says, on my way to vote. And it's a guy with a AK-47 dragging on the floor. I like those crazy eyes. Thank you, beer, baby. I am very, yes, I'm very pretty. Pamphlettering woo. Yes, exactly. It's communication, ladies and gentlemen. So, see, the mole whack doesn't work only one way. If we have guns, the mole whack doesn't work only one way. Now, there are many other things that we could do, but I'm just saying, as far as when is it time for war, I'm just saying they don't want this smoke. They want us to make ourselves small, like they did during COVID, like they did during January 6th, like they did. Get scared. Don't fucking cross this fucking line, or else or else what, bitch? If more than 5% of us stood up and said, I'm going to make whatever fucking lemonade stand I want, suck my dick, they would move on to another easier mark. Look at it across the country. Oh, we're going to ban assault weapons. Even legally, they can't get that shit done. And you think that somehow, some way, that they could go door to door and pick our fucking... Stop, bro. Cat's out of the bag. They want us to make ourselves small. They need us to make ourselves small. It's fucking impossible to manage 331 million of us motherfuckers. They need us to make our... Well, define war. What if we no longer made ourselves small? That's what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. One of the many things. What if we didn't do that anymore? What if they said, we're gonna, and we said, and went about our lives? If there's one, let's take it real pedantic. If there's one fucking cop on one beat and he's in charge of passing out the lemonade stand tickets, and in this fucking in this crew of 3, 4, 5 blocks, you got 20 motherfucking little girls with lemonade stands going, suck my dick. What he gonna do? The jail's only so big. Am I saying maybe this is a bad analogy, but am I exactly, Philip, stay big. Am I saying that they would never start taking out those little girls with lemonade stands? No, of course not. I don't put anything above them pieces of shit. But I am saying once they decide to pull that lever, it's fucking over for them. They know it's over. I shouldn't hit that wall. There's a neighbor behind me. It's 8:50 at night. Sorry. Do you understand what I'm saying? They know that they can't win that. So they win in other ways. They get us through the psyop. They want our fucking minds so that they can make ourselves small. So what's another way that we can fight wars that don't involve pulling out the big guns yet? And I'll end with this. Oh, let me hang on. Try bartering as much as possible. That how for a while I got my weed. Good for you, Podigisten Stoner. You have stoner in your name and you smoke weed. Oh my God. Let's end with this. I'm really having a blast. I love you guys very much. I'm going to do this more frequently. I had someone actually, in fact, Dark Entries Design said, just call him Stoner. That's so much easier. Oh my God. Forest Mommy with the intellectual tip. Civil disobedience. Yes, Philip. Glad I caught it. I'm glad you caught it too, Forest Mommy. What I'm saying is this. I was doing a live stream, or I was doing a show with Alex Strenger the other day. And we were talking about, if voting matters. And I can see both elements of, both elements of reasons why one might find that a good idea and reasons why one might find that not a good idea or useless or whatever. But the point we were talking about is at a certain point, things are going to go so sideways that the voting, what is it for? Right? And I'm not here necessarily to say that we're at that point. Although I get it. I know I have a lot of anarchist followers. I understand who when I make a pro a pro Trump post, they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I know, I get it too. He's a piece of shit too. I get it. I understand. But the thing we were talking about is like, voting essentially is necessary if you're wanting to continue to live the way you have lived. Meaning this. If, like, again, we talked about us being untouchable from the state. If we all had our own little lemonade stand being bad little moles, and they can't therefore touch us, then it doesn't matter who's in charge. Forrest Mommy has talked about that when she was on my show, right? If the government had less pull, quote unquote, power, quote unquote, if the government had less power, it wouldn't matter who's at the helm, right? What's a good example of that? I'm in Texas. I don't give a sweet hot fuck what New York does. I do, but I don't. It doesn't affect my fucking life. I still post about it and try to help my New York friends and still talk about Eric Adams being a complete bought piece of fucking dog shit, looking like ass fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ass nigga, right? But it doesn't affect my life because we're insulated from each other. So if I'm still emotionally invested or being affected by who I vote in, then sure, voting matters. Sure. But what if What if it didn't matter anymore? If I'm still trying to, like, this is one of the problems. I don't have a ton of problems. I get the animus behind it. But this idea of make America great again, sure, it should be what it was designed to be. It should be free. It should be great. But if we're thinking that we're going to go back to pre-COVID times, that's an insane idea. And not because we have so much more awareness, or I mean, not because we, won't be able to, but I'm saying we have too much awareness now. We've seen how they make the fucking sausage. I don't want any more sausage because I've seen the raccoon cheeks that they put in that shit. ¿Sabes? Unless the bad analogy because I do like hot dogs, but you understand what I'm saying? If the veil comes down and I see, ew, they're all pieces of shit. They're all it was a fucking lie. Then maybe I don't choose to invest in that emotionally. Maybe I choose to say, fuck all of you. Unless I'm trying to scrounge up to this past. This is part of the problem. I've said it on the show. We have this, especially millennials, pay attention. We have this fucking nostalgia obsession that's fucking unhealthy. It's fucking unhealthy for us to go, 90s kids, right? Let me jerk off into my own mouth. Who gives a fuck that you were born in the 90s, bitch? You're living in 2024. I'm not saying it's not fun to see fucking Capri Sun packages from fucking 97. I'm not saying that it's not fun to say, yeah, I remember those times. But I am saying it is emotionally unhealthy. It's spiritually motherfucking unhealthy to say, I wish we could go back. I wish. There is no going back. And it's unhealthy to imagine that. They didn't do that. Or maybe they did, but fuck, not to this level. They didn't jerk off the 90s. Fuck the 90s. I'm living right now. I can't go back. And wanting to go back so bad is going to make me need to do what? Escape from the present. Escape from the present. That's not healthy. Being in the here and now is healthy. Right? And I'm saying that to say, and I see your comments, I'll see you in a second, but I'm saying that to say, what are we missing in 2024 by jerking off the 90s? What are we missing from 2024 and beyond by hoping and a wishing and a praying that we'll go back to some imaginary fucking time where everything was wonderful all the time? What are we missing? It's like an ex. I remember one time, I was in this shit fuck relationship and I fucking hated this girl and she hated me. And for some reason, we were still living together. It was sucked balls. We fought almost every day. And I remember I was 21 years old and I didn't know no better, but like, fuck, man, every breakup at that point was just the end of the world because I'm young and I got out of that relationship. Oh, I'm never going to be able to, and I miss her so much. 3 months later, I'm like, thank fucking God I got out of that shit. I fucking hated that bitch. I could go into examples, but I'm not going to because I doubt this would ever get back to her. But God bless her. I wouldn't say I don't kiss and tell, but you got to respect anybody who sucks your dick. You got to try. Her jersey may be hung up, but it's like, you know what, baby? Good on you. We had some fun times. I won't out you publicly. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, why am I going off that topic? Angry sex is good though. Nah, not when I'm trying to be good. Anyway, I very quickly, shortly, out of getting out of that relationship, was grateful that it ended. And was a couple months after that, looking back and going, why the fuck did I stay with that bitch? You know why? Because it was more comfortable. Like the discomfort wasn't scary. I became comfortable in the discomfort. Because what if over there, here might suck ass, but what if over there sucks worse? Then fuck it, I'll just stay here. Why am I going into that? Why am I pointing this out? Micro is macro, ladies and gentlemen. I always say it. I'm saying, what are we missing that we could have that we don't because we're hanging on to that which no longer serves us? Dark Entrance Design says it was familiar. Exactly. I like cool new things better. Yes, exactly. 90s were the 70s again. Is that, you know what? You're right. Well, that 70s show, I guess. But yeah. Okay. The movie single soundtrack. And to the Florida girl. Same old trip it was back there. So I made a big mistake. I'm doing another album this year, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to help, go ahead and Venmo me. But I'm rich, so it doesn't matter. It's a lot of work. Anyway, I'm saying, what could we be missing out on in the future by hanging on to shit from the past? And that doesn't just apply to 90s, to nostalgia, to, I think it applies politically. What could we be missing from the future? All right. What could be better? Could there be another structure? Maybe multiple. Maybe, you know what? Maybe, gee golly, I don't know. What if there was a God who is in charge anyway? While we're working, it's not a binary option between praying alone and storming the cap. No. You can do both. I'm saying work. What if we work to save the culture, to save the humans, to connect truth, freedom, connection, while trusting that the ultimate outcome, the big umbrella, has some sort of a cosmic design to it? That's not making me stagnant. I believe in God. I work for God. I try to serve other people through God and vice versa. But I'm still working like a son of a bitch, and I'm probably fucking working harder than you. Hello, I'm out here with my fucking face. I love you. I'm not trying to suck my own dick, but I am saying I am a living example of the fact that you can pray and do your best to trust in a higher power without being stagnant, without being apathetic or lazy. The benefits that I get from trusting God is, yeah, I work like a son of a bitch, comma, and I also believe that regardless of what happens, it's going to be all right. Maybe you should try it sometime. And if you already are a Christian or already are believing in some sort of higher power, why not bring God or your higher power into your relationship with politics? I see a lot of motherfuckers who are like, oh, yeah, God's in charge. Or, I mean, they're like, yeah, God. And then when it comes to like, oh, what are we going to do? We need to fight. They just allow themselves to be covered in a blanket of fear. Bitch, if you have a God, act like it. That's all I'm saying. All right. I love you all very much. And I have to urinate out of my pee hole. This is why I'm not famous. I love you guys very much. This has been a fucking blast. I'm so glad that I felt desire to, to get on here and talk about what could be possible if we didn't reach for the big guns, especially if they benefit from it. And that you all did it with me. I love you all very much. This was a blasty poo. Um, I love when my fellow Gen X lose their sheet about Metallica or Poison as classic rock. Bitches, it's 40 years old. Yeah, true. Valid. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you all very much. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe, share, rate, and review. More live streams, Peter. Don't tell me what to do. Dark Entries Design. How dare you? What if we all opened up a lemonade stand? That's what I'm saying, Danny. I love you all very much. And make sure you share this with people or you're racist. Find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Love you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Mwah. Yes, ma'am, I will do it. This was too much fun to not do it again. You're right, Dark Entries Design. I will do it again. Now I have to go. Stop commenting so I can leave. Love you all very much. Bye. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Now you got more of it. Nope, I'm almost done.